If you were your customer, what would you do? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. I wanted to talk about this because the psychology behind it is kind of cool. My wife came into me with a piece of mail. We talk about these things once in a while because we like to see things from a perspective of what would I do? What are the things that attract my attention? And what would I do if I was my own customer? And so we watch for things that pull our attention and like to dissect why. And this is a great example. And we're going to talk a little bit about this envelope and why it caught her attention. So we own a property management company, and on occasion we'll get a piece of mail trying to play toward that. And that's what this is. This was specifically playing toward, well, specifically it was more for an association that we used to be a member of. And so I'd like to talk about the envelope. Now, the inside of the envelope was a different story. There was not enough there to really discuss, but I want to talk about the outside of the envelope, because if you're sending out mail, I want you to think about how it affects other people and different ways of handling the same issue, because there are many different ways that can work. It all depends on what you're trying to get and who you're trying to speak to. Initially, I want you to think about this, not just regarding mail, it's just direct mail, snail mail that shows up. I want you to think about it regarding your emails, regarding your social media, regarding everything that you put out there to either prospective customers, current customers, or previous customers. Everything that you're doing, you have to think, what would I do if I were them? And the best case scenario is if you actually have something in common with your customer. It's not always necessary, but it's a good place to be in, because you kind of come with that. And if not, if you know someone that has similar traits, that is in the same industry, or you know your customers well enough, try and get their take on different things. And if you can do that on a smaller sampling before you make it a wider sampling, you'll save a whole lot of money and you'll get a lot better effect. So let's talk. This mail piece gives us a good idea of that. You can see here, there's a couple things that they did that's very interesting here. The first off, right up here, it's very subtle. Most people want to catch it. There's a person's name and address. There's no name of that. This actually came from an organization, company, organization, what have you. The name of the organization isn't up there. All it says is Michael P. Aitken. Okay. That's all it says. That could be anybody. It's from Alexandria, Virginia. Very common area, very common place to get things from a larger area in Virginia. There's just nothing to really tell you who it's from. And if you're reaching out to a person, especially if you're going cold and you're coming in for the first time, something like that is actually pretty useful, because it doesn't tell you anything. The one thing it does tell a person, and a lot of these things are subconscious. They may not. People look at it quick, they're either going to dump it or they're going to open it. And your whole idea is to get them to open it. And so some of the subconscious things is because it's printed the way it's printed, and because it's got a great big headline here, one thing they will realize immediately, this is a piece of commercial mail. This isn't from a friend. This isn't a business letter that I'm receiving from another business. This is somebody trying to get money out of me. So they will realize that right away. And there's a benefit to that if your message is clear, which this one is pretty good. But we'll get to that in a second. The other thing that throws it off is you got the nonprofit, so it is a nonprofit organization, nonprofit org, U.S. postage paid, that little stamp right up or little whatever they call them, that's up here on this side. This is why a lot of people, for years and years and years, going all the way back before Gary Halbert, were recommending using a live stamp. So an actual stamp that you buy out of a machine or you get in a roll or whatever, put that on there. That gives it a little bit more power in terms of it looking like it actually went through human hands. So there might actually be something personalized for me in there, right? But this is not attempting to get past that, which is funny that they went with just the regular name here. They really do want to use curiosity to pull you in, even though they're showing off the fact that this is a piece of somewhat commercial mail. So this says, has the great, and I'm reading it for those who are listening and not watching, has the Great Resignation disrupted your workforce? It's a pretty good draw, because it's the Great Resignation is something that's kind of been popping around there, and even if a person doesn't know what that means, it's capitalized. So you're gonna, okay, well, what is it? And then there's a sub headline here. This is right on the face of the envelope for those of you who can't see. It says, develop new strategies on talent acquisition and retention to find and keep great employees. Who's this going to play to? Someone who wants to find and keep great employees. Who's it not going to play to? Anyone that either did not read it or isn't looking for great employees, finding and keeping great employees. They either already have them or they're not looking for them, right? So right away, that is going to determine a huge percentage of who opens and who doesn't. If you're going to put it on there, you might as well be bold about it. And they did that pretty well. It did. What's funny about it is that it attracted my wife's attention, even though she wasn't interested specifically in finding great employees right now. But she noticed how it did grab her, and she did find it to be a good headline. And it is for the right crowd. If that's the only people you're looking to get to, this was a good one. So it's something to keep in mind, all the little things all along the way, even down to the color of the envelope. This, I'm not sure if you can tell because the lighting in here isn't the best. This is not a distinct white envelope like you would be used to. It has a slight yellowish tinge to it. I don't even know what you'd call that. But because of that, it gives off the idea that it is different. It isn't typical. It's something that's more commercial. At least to me, that's what it gives off. I may be reading too much into it, but I pay a lot of attention to these subliminal concepts that people go through. And if you think that the big guys don't pay attention to this, you're wrong. They pay a lot of attention to it. They will try different colors or different shades of colors to see which gets the most pull. These are all things that get paid attention to, and even if you're a small company, it's something you want to pay attention to too. Not just for direct mail, across the board. You have to think about, what would I do if I were them? If you can start there and keep focus in that area, you don't have to be there all day long. You do have to think about it on a regular basis though, and if you're not thinking about it, you better have somebody reliable thinking about it at your company. That's all I got for today. Hey, go check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. Amazon Proof just means that making it where the big guys can't pull you down. Even if they're Amazon.com, you should be able to overcome competition. 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. Go buy yourself a copy or get a free copy from my website, AmazonProofBook.com. That's all I got for tonight. You have a good night, and we'll be back here tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.